My name is Cassy Summers. Welcome to the Curious Universe podcast. To this episode of the Curious Universe podcast. It is just days away from Halloween, so I thought we could play with magic, obviously. What can we explore here with magic? What do you know about magic that maybe you've never been told or you don't know why you know it? That's what we're gonna play with. So let's get curious here for a minute. Through time, we have been told what magic is, right? You may have grown up reading fairy tale books. You may have actually played with Wiccan or witchcraft or explored that kind of stuff. Voodoo magic. There's like black magic, dark magic, all these different types of magic, right? Whew. That actually brought up a lot. How many lifetimes? Oh dear. How many lifetimes have you indulged in one of the darker magic arts and vowed to never do it again? So we're going to use the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. We're just jumping right in today. So if you're new to the show or new to Access Consciousness, there's a statement that you can say, and it clears out energies as if by magic. We use it every time on the show. I'm not going to go over how it works, but you can go to theclearingstatement.com and get more information there. But here it is. So everything this brings up and lets down, will you destroy it and create it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 100 Schwartz Boys, Poets, Creations, Bases, and Beyonds. There we go. We cleared it. Part of what inspired me on this topic was actually looking at Halloween. So Halloween here in North America, in Canada, it's very much like trick or treat, going to go get some candy. People dress up as either like their favorite fantastical like superhero or someone that really inspires them, or if you're an adult and you're going to a party, you're just trying to dress sexy or funny. That's often what happens. Um, it derived, from what I understand, from the Mexican tradition of Day of the Dead. We took aspects of that. We did our own thing, and other parts of the world might do completely different things. I have a friend right now that's traveling to um, just Thailand. I blanked. She's traveling to Thailand and she said, "Oh, they celebrate Halloween down there." So she packed a Halloween costume. I'm like, "Oh, that's so cool. I didn't know the Asian cultures had their version of Halloween." And I was curious, like, what is that like, right? So we have these different versions of a time and the and when do you celebrate it? How long is it? Like, is it one day? Is it a week event? What are the traditions involved? Uh, and you've probably just been really aware of your own culture. And some people who explore beyond, they know a little bit about the other cultures and maybe what they're doing. But I'm curious, what do you know about this time, like this time of year, this time in the world? Like, is it something that is there actually, they say the thinning of the veil. Is that true? What do you know? Yeah. So there's this energy showing up right now. And part of it is like, of course, this is what we know, this is what we've been told, and almost a defense for this. And then there's this other energy of like, what? How would I know? You, as this magical wizard that you are, this infinite being that you are, actually know things that you shouldn't even be able to know. I have more than on one occasion either said something that was completely true, and I had no recollection of ever reading a book or ever studying it whatsoever to the detail, or doing something I've never done before, and my body knew exactly what to do. Has it ever happened to you? Maybe you've never acknowledged it. Maybe it has happened. You've never acknowledged it. And would you claim, own, and acknowledge it now so more can show up? It's really magical. I remember my first time going on horseback as an adult. I had kind of a few times ridden as a kid, only one time by myself, and the horse just took off and ran, and it was so fun. And then it stopped right at a fence. And then we just like, I was like, this was so great. Everyone was panicking. I thought it was fine. And then I've ridden horseback on the back of, like, my friend would be leading the horse and I'd just be on the back. So I didn't have a lot of experience horseback riding. And then I was in Costa Rica. I was going to go horseback riding. And I had heard this thing in class where you could ask all the lifetimes, like to recall all the lifetimes where I knew how to do this, like where I had ridden horses and been an incredible horse rider. And so I just asked for that without really an expectation. And I noticed like right away my body like relaxed, my hips got way looser. I started moving like not any way I would think you would want to move with a horse. And but my body had so much ease with it and I had a lot less pain than most people because like you if you haven't been riding then you could feel really stiff or really like sore the next day. Um and it was so magical and I was like, wow, I guess I do know something about horseback riding. Um I actually had one of the women there, she kind of was really getting into riding. She had gone a few times. It was maybe her fifth or sixth time through years. Like she had been going for years. And I'm just riding along and I'm on the horse that they picked for me. And she was like, how long have you been riding for? And I'm like, oh, like today. And she's like, no, I mean, like, how long have, like, you've obviously been riding for a long time. I mean, they gave you like one of the most difficult horses to ride. Like, how long have you been riding for? And I was like, oh, today. She was like, what? And her eyes got really big and looked at me like, how are you doing this? Like, how are you handling this horse so well? And it was just ease for me. It just had like this natural energy to it. And I'm just actually getting an awareness. How often when someone has a natural capacity, is it that they're accessing either like consciousness or accessing knowing from other lifetimes? Hmm. So you could be a natural at everything. You could be like, how many lifetimes have I ridden a bike? What does my body know? What could I know about this? So what do you know about magic? So what do you know about, and I don't even just want to say Halloween or All Saints Day, All Hallows Eve. Like there's a lot of different uh, days and different kind of celebrations around the world, right? So just this time of year, whether it's on October 31st or around that time, or even the whole month of October, what are you aware of? What do you know about magic? And let that start to come into your world. It might not be cognitive, and a lot of that can be frustrating for people because they're like, well, I'm not getting anything, or I obviously don't know anything, or how do I use it in my life if I can't get a cognitive awareness? What's so cool is if you're not getting anything cognitive and you're just getting the energy of it, it will just show up in your life in strange and magical ways. That's the fun of it. I love kind of oracle cards and tarot cards. And I'm by no means am I an expert. Okay. Just making that clear. I've not, I've like read books, but I wouldn't say I've studied it. I wouldn't say I've never taken a course on it. Okay. I like them and I do it from a totally space of like non-significance, just the joy of this way of communing with the universe and teammates and such. Um, but I rarely do it. When I was gifted a bunch of decks from a friend that was just kind of like done with all the stuff. And I gave some of the decks away, but there's this one deck, and I'm like, oh, it's so pretty. I really like it. I'm like, but there's something strange about the energy when I was holding it. I was like, it's not mine. It like still belongs so much to the person who had it before. I'm like, I almost need to like clear the energy off this deck. And I'm like, how do I do that? And then my hand reached out and knocked on it 3 times. Knock, knock, knock. And I started laughing. I'm like, that's so weird. I wonder why I did that. That's so strange. Later that day, I just pulled open the deck again and I started to like, there's like usually a little book that goes with it. And I opened the book to this page and it said clear the deck. And I'm like, oh, you can actually clear decks? Cool. And so they started to read, and it said one way to clear the deck is to knock on it 3 times. I was wowed by this. I was wowed by this because it was so precise and specific. All I did was ask the question, well, how do I clear this deck? And I knew how to clear it. I knew, but not because I ever read it. No one has ever told me that. I've never literally seen anyone do this in a movie, in real life, anything. But I knew. What do you know about magic? There's like, I love crystals as well. I am not a metaphysical person. I just am making that clear. And I have nothing against metaphysical people. But I have all these beautiful crystals. I love crystals because they're shiny and they're pretty. Some people love books and they'll like read like this crystal does this crystal does this. Again, I'm not insulting that. If that's fun for you to do it. Something I started to read it and some stuff started to get really heavy for me and I realized like I'm relying on someone else's awareness. Like, what if all rose quartz, what if every single rose quartz doesn't do what the book's telling me? Like, what if this rose quartz has a different capacity? Like it's its own consciousness, right? So if I'm not willing to be present with it and I'm just like, oh, you do fill in the blank. I actually don't even remember what they're supposed to do. Maybe something to do with love, Rose, I don't know. Um, so then I started to ask like what can you contribute? And every day it's actually different. Like, what if it wasn't always it does this? It's going to bring you love or it's going to whatever. Like if I actually ask the stone. And then that's tapping into my knowing and my awareness and my receiving. Now, again, it might not be cognitive. I might be like, oh, what could you contribute to me in my body today? You might just get heavy, like, oh, nothing. Put you down. What can you contribute to me in my body today? I just got tingling sensations down my fingers into my wrists. How cool is that? That is like, how would I know that? Well, you know, because when you ask a question, you have to, like a true question. When I say a true question, I don't mean like it's like a wonderful, perfect question. I mean, if you're asking a question, if it's a real question, you don't know the answer to it. Otherwise, it's not a question, right? You're saying something that you've already decided, and then you're putting a question mark on the end of it as if it's a question. Like, you know, you've probably had those questions where especially the adults of the world or an authority figure would ask you a question like that has no, it's a statement with a question mark attached. There's no curiosity. They're not looking to receive any awareness from it. So a true question has curiosity to it. A true question doesn't have a conclusion. So if someone asks you a question, or if you ask someone else a question, or ask yourself a question, the question accesses your knowing, being, perceiving, and receiving. That's freaking magic, by the way. So when I asked like, what would it take to recall all the past lives where I was really good with horses, or ask, what do I know about riding horses, even if I've never ridden them this lifetime? What do I know about this crystal? What do I know about? What do I know about? What do I know about? Right? Okay. When you go to what do I know, then you have to access what you know. You're knowing, being, perceiving, and receiving. It's so easy and so truly wonderful and can enrich your life. It enriches your life because one, you start to gain access to stuff that you're never going to find anywhere else. Because what if this is like, two trillion lifetimes ago, you had this awareness. It's not in a book. You're not going to find it anywhere here, but you know it. You have access to it, and you can utilize that in your life. Yeah. And all these different lifetimes and different, you've been a man, you've been a woman, you've probably been different extraterrestrial bodies, like from different places. You know what I'm talking about. What do you know about those lifetimes? And that you could utilize in your life this lifetime. Not everything's going to apply. Like when I like the tools that I used as a 3-year-old are not necessarily tools I'm going to use now because they don't apply anymore, right? So different lifetimes there was different tools and practices, but what could you actually utilize now in your life? So when you're looking at Halloween, when you're looking at, I've just been really curious. I've been looking at a lot of things, a lot of traditions. I've been looking at New Year's, and we know there's this is the day, it's called the New Year. It's when the year rolls over, right? We all know that day. Yet there are different traditions where different calendars would actually have the New Year's would be more in sync with the equinox, and it would be in the fall. And I was actually having this great conversation with a friend, and I was saying, that for me, like that new beginning always felt like it began in September. And I thought it was because school started, like you go back to school and then you've got like your new clothing for the year, you've got your textbooks, you're starting like a new kind of chapter, you're sinking into a new school year. What I realized was it what actually didn't have anything to do with school, that it because it carried on far after school. I only had school for 12 years. And then the rest of my life, it's still every September. And it usually like really hit mid-September. It's this sense of we're starting a new chapter. When fall starts to come in, autumn, fall, in Canada anyways, I'm like, okay, this is the beginning. And this is like when a lot of my organization and planning and questions and like these like kind of earthier senses start to show up. Like we're beginning something new. So to me, that actually more matched a new year. And then when I learned that there is a calendar that this is actually part of the new year, I was like, oh my gosh, what did I know? Like, what did I know about that? So what do you know about all of these? Like, what do you know about Easter? What do you know about Christmas? What do you know about these traditions, right? What do you know about New Year's? But what do you know about all sorts of magic? What do you know about crystals? What do you know about water? Wow. What do you know about the magic of water? Wow, my body's doing so many different cool sensations right now. What do you know about the magic of the earth? What do you know about the magic of bodies? What do you know about the magic of gems and jewelry? What do you know about the magic of dancing? Just came up, dancing and movement. What if you explored? So, what if this Halloween, as you're doing whatever your traditions are, would you be willing to bring in a little bit of this magical awareness that you have that maybe no one else has? Maybe no one else has heard about it. Maybe you have this awareness of the spirit realm, of the veil, of entities, beings of light. Like, what do you know? Not from a conclusion, not even a, because there's conclusions we made in other lifetimes, right? And again, those aren't I don't require to bring those forward. I'm looking for the awarenesses I had in other lifetimes, not the decisions and conclusions I had in other lifetimes. And so when you play with that, like, what do you know? And what can you access from other lifetimes that you can utilize now to make your life a more magical life? And maybe to make your Halloween celebration, your whatever this is for you, even more enchanting, more magical than you ever imagined possible. And what if it could truly show up as if by magic? Thank you so much for exploring this with me in the Curious Universe. I am so grateful for you being here. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, maybe share this with a friend that maybe they know something truly magical as well. We'll see you in the next episode of the Curious Universe podcast, where we bypass the structures of this reality so you can truly access your own miraculous, magical reality. Bye for now. Thank you for exploring the Curious Universe with me. Your curiosity matters. And what if together we could create a greater, more curious world?